In the world of social media influencers, the line between curated content and hidden turmoil is often blurred. The case of Ruby Franke, a once celebrated Utah mother and YouTube personality, casts a chilling shadow on the facade of family bliss presented online. Ruby Franke, a Utah mother of 6 and former YouTube influencer known for her 8 Passengers channel, has been sentenced to 4 to 60 years in prison for child abuse. The 41-year-old pleaded guilty in December 2023, acknowledging her mistreatment of her children, including forcing them to perform strenuous physical tasks.
And hopefully nobody gives her food and nobody steps in and gives her a lunch.
Denying them food and water and engaging in physical abuse. The sentencing in a Utah district court involved 4 consecutive 1 to 15-year terms for Franke. Her former business partner, Jody Hildebrandt, also received a similar sentence. Both women could potentially serve a total of 4 to 60 years in prison. Franke's admission included details of various forms of abuse, such as kicking one of her sons while wearing boots, holding his head underwater, and smothering his mouth and nose with her hands. The charges against Franke and Hildebrandt were initially 2 counts of aggravated child abuse.
He's emaciated, he's got tape around his legs, he's hungry, and he's thirsty. He's obviously covered in wounds.
But were later upgraded to 6 felony counts after a disturbing 911 call prompted their arrest on August 3, 2023.
911, the address of your emergency. Tell me exactly what's happened.
I just had a 12-year-old boy show up here at my front door asking for help.
The arrests took place at Hildebrandt's home in Ivins, Utah, about 300 miles south of Salt Lake City, following an incident where one of the children escaped and sought help from a neighbor.
Police say this is the house a young child escaped from and went to a neighbor's house asking for food and water.
The Frankes reside in Springville, Utah, approximately 4 hours north of Ivins. Arrest, arraignment, and the chilling 911 call. The Santa Clara Ivins Public Safety Department received a call about a distressed juvenile, later revealed to be one of Ruby Franke's 12-year-old sons. The boy escaped Jody Hildebrandt's home, displaying signs of emaciation and malnourishment, with duct tape around his ankles and wrists. A concerned neighbor calls 911, reporting the boy's self-blame. While awaiting emergency services, the neighbor provides the juvenile with food and water. Another child, a 10-year-old girl, also Franke's child, in a similar condition, is discovered at Hildebrandt's home. The 2 children are hospitalized, and 2 others are placed under the Department of Child and Family Services care. Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt virtually appear in court, facing delays as over 1,300 people, mostly TikTok users, attempt to join the session. Clad in orange jumpsuits, both women refrain from entering a plea. Charging documents obtained by the Salt Lake Tribune outline accusations of causing serious injury to the children through physical harm, torture, endangering life via starvation or malnutrition, and inflicting severe emotional harm. The judge orders the woman to be held without bail. The St. George Police Department released a distressing 911 call from the neighbor who found the 12-year-old seeking help.
A neighbor called 911 when he showed up at their house asking for food and water. Officers say his wrists were duct taped. He had wounds from being tied up across his body.
The neighbor reports the boy's request for police assistance, emphasizing his fear. The call reveals the neighbor's emotional distress as he details the boy's wounds. Prosecutors allege Franke and Hildebrandt either caused or allowed the torture of the malnourished children. Franke's alleged filming in the home days before the arrests suggests an awareness of the children's deteriorating condition. The expert under scrutiny. Ruby Franke, recognized for her seemingly strict parenting style on social media, faced criticism for her controversial approaches. In a TikTok video, she revealed withholding breakfast from her kids until they completed chores, stating they were literally starving. Another incident involved refusing to bring lunch to her kindergartner.
From Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school?
Claiming it was a lesson in responsibility. In a candid video, Franke and her husband informed their youngest children that they wouldn't receive Christmas presents due to perceived selfishness and unresponsiveness to punishment. The couple, parents to Sherry, Chad, Abby, Julie, Russell, and Eve, justified this unusual disciplinary action as a strategy to awaken emotional responsiveness. Franke's 8 Passengers YouTube channel, launched in 2015, documented the Franke family's activities, parenting style, and home renovations. Following her arrest, YouTube removed the channel. Family dynamics: husband, estranged daughter, sisters, and a concerned neighbor. While Kevin Franke, Ruby's husband, remains uninvolved in the legal proceedings and his whereabouts during his wife's arrest are unclear, he has faced controversy. In 2020, he garnered criticism for making their eldest son sleep in a beanbag for almost 7 months as a disciplinary measure. Kevin's lawyer, Randy Kester, asserted on Good Morning America that Kevin played no role in the abuse leading to Ruby and Hildebrandt's arrest, emphasizing Kevin's commitment to the well-being of his children. Sherry, the eldest daughter, has been estranged from her mother for a significant period. In response to the arrests, Sherry celebrated on her Instagram story, expressing relief that justice was being served. She had previously attempted to alert authorities about the situation.
Hi, my name is Ruby Franke. My 4 younger siblings are living in Springville, and my neighbors have been telling me that they have been left home alone for about 4 or 5 days.
And her post included a photo of police officers outside the family home. Franke's sisters, Ellie Mesham, Bonnie Hololan, and Julie DeRue, issued a joint statement on social media acknowledging Ruby's arrest as a necessary step for the safety of the children. They emphasized their commitment to the well-being of the kids and clarified that their main priority is ensuring the children are safe. A neighbor who lived near the Frankes for about 5 years noticed concerning signs before Ruby's arrest. The neighbor mentioned a sudden withdrawal of the 2 youngest children from the neighborhood's public activities, with Ruby seemingly isolating them. While red flags were present, the extent of the reported physical abuse was unexpected for the neighbors and the community. A disturbing past. As per reports from CBS affiliate KUTV in Springville, Utah, authorities received over a dozen calls to 2 residences owned by the Frankes. The station also noted that the Department of Child and Family Services personnel visited the home on 4 occasions in 2022 and 2023. During one incident on April 16, 2022, a DCFS worker contacted the police, alerting them that Franke had been informed of 2 unsupervised children running in the road. 5 months later, Sherry made a call to the police, requesting a welfare check, as her siblings had allegedly been left alone at home while their mother was in St. George with a friend. Sherry mentioned that a neighbor had informed her about the children being alone for 5 days. Police, upon arriving at the residence, reportedly observed the children through the windows but received no response when attempting to make contact at the door. Law enforcement officials stated that neighbors disclosed incidents where Franke would frequently leave her children unattended for extended periods, traveling to St. George to spend time with her friend, Jody Hildebrandt. Consequences. Shortly after being taken into custody, Hildebrandt found herself in a medical holding facility with the jail due to ongoing health problems. According to KUTV, Hildebrandt's attorney, in a filed motion, disclosed that she had faced a life-threatening medical crisis leading to her hospitalization for several days. Although the specific details of Hildebrandt's condition remain unclear, her attorney sought a special setting with the judge on September 14, 2023, to address her detention, as reported by the news station. Meanwhile, Franke also encountered health issues. KUTV mentioned that she was transferred from her holding cell to a medical block in the jail. Subsequently, people reported that Franke was returned to her cell over the weekend. The guilty plea and the sentencing. On December 18, 2023, Franke entered a guilty plea for child abuse charges, originally facing 6 counts in September, with 2 dropped under the plea agreement as reported by KUTV. Appearing in court in jail attire, Franke, handcuffed, closed her eyes and took a deep breath before admitting guilt to 3 child abuse charges. The disturbing details outlined in the plea deal revealed Franke's admission to torturing her 12-year-old son from May 22 to August 30. She subjected him to physically demanding tasks, denied him food, isolated him, and used various forms of abuse, including binding his hands with handcuffs and ropes, kicking him, holding his head underwater, and smothering him. Franke even convinced him he was evil and possessed. Similar abuse was admitted towards her 9-year-old daughter. Growing emotional, Franke expressed deep regret and sorrow for her family and children. As part of the plea deal, Franke agreed to testify against Hildebrandt, her business partner. Concurrently, amid the court proceedings, Franke's husband Kevin filed for divorce. On February 20, 2024, Franke received a sentence of 4 1 to 15-year terms in prison from a Utah district court. Hildebrandt, her business partner, also received the same sentence. Both sentences will be served consecutively, potentially resulting in a total of 4 to 60 years in prison. During the sentencing, emotional audio streamed on the Utah court's website, capturing Franke expressing remorse and apologizing to her children.
I took from you your mother. How terrifying this must have been for you.
She acknowledged her distorted version of reality over the past 4 years and admitted to following misguided counsel and guidance, isolating herself from those who challenged her. Well, that's it for today. How do you believe the legal system should address cases involving influencers and their impact on their audience? Share your thoughts in the comments below.